Okay, something a bit more serious here. First thing I'll do is situate the 7 pi over 6. So I have to be able to see where that is. So it's a bit more than pi, so this would be pi here. So it's a little bit further. Pi over 6 further. So something like that. Why not? There's my 7 pi over 6. Now what I'm going to do is reflect that back into the first quadrant. So I'll reflect it back into the first quadrant. And I'll go from there. So if I reflect it in 2 steps, first of all I'll reflect it up to get that. And then I'll reflect it across to get that. And this angle here is pi over 6. Now I say to myself, sine of pi over 6 is, well, this triangle here tells me that sine of pi over 6 is 1 over 2. Now, what about this guy? What about sine of 7 pi over 6? Well, what I do now is I use something I call the cast rule. What color should I use? Blue-green. The cast rule. Let's make this nice and big. So, cast, C, A, S, T. Now, S stands for sine, C is cos, T is tan. And this diagram says that only cos is positive here. The S means only sine is plus, and the T says only tan is positive, and the A stands for all. All are positive. So again, the C means only, cosine is positive, so down here, sine and tan are negative. Okay, what does this do for me? Well, it allows me to write down that sine of 7 pi over 6. For reasons I won't explain, I know it's going to be related to this guy. It's going to be plus or minus a half. Now, which one is it? Well, remember my 7 pi over 6 was down in the third quadrant here. Only tan is positive here, so sine must be negative. So I use that information to put a minus right here. So I'm taking my cast rule and using it to put that minus there. So 2 things here. I'm reflecting into the first quadrant, and that tells me that sine of 7 pi over 6 is going to be either a half or minus a half. And then I use this cast rule to determine whether it's plus or minus. All right, let's try another one. Cos of 5 pi over 4. So if I reflect that, 5 pi over 4 looks like this. So if I reflect it back into the first quadrant, I get this guy, which is pi over 4. Cosine pi over 4 is 1 over root 2. That's from my triangle 1, 1, root 2. So cosine of 5 pi over 4 equals, it's going to be equal root 2, or cosine 5 pi over 4 will equal negative 1 over root 2. It can't be both of these things, but which one is it going to be? Cast rule, C-A-S-T. My 5 pi over 4 is down in my t quadrant, so the cosine must be negative. So I throw this one away. That's my answer there.